What up, everybody? What up, everybody? Let me get to the spot. Hey, everybody. What is going on? This is Plan Your Greatness, and I am your gracious host, Carlton Hamilton. And let's get started today. Today is Thoughtful Thursday. Yes, it is. Now, I got something special for you. All right. Normally, I have been doing the last 2 or 3 weeks, I had introduced the series. I was working on a series, and we were up to part 3 of the What Separates You series. And we were talking about the 5 things that I use that has separated me from. Oh, you're looking at this? Oh, let me take this off. I'll explain this a little bit later. This is when you take a flight. So you're sleeping next to, sleeping somewhere you'll be very comfortable. Let's go throw that over there. So normally on Thursdays, it's Thoughtful Thursdays, but I started a series and I wanted to finish it on Thursdays. But what happened is, on short notice, my dad wanted to go back to where he's from, which is Charleston, Mississippi. They have a thing called Charleston. So my brother Andre, I flew to Chicago, which is why I had that on. And we drove down 11-hour drive from Chicago to Mississippi. Really nice drive. And we got a chance to see where my dad grew up. And this was very, very impactful because I had never been down there before. In all my years, only a few of my brothers have ever gone down there to see where my dad is from. So this was very, very special. And so I wanted to put the What Separates You series on hold because I wanted to do this very special video because, I just got back yesterday. I just got back to Arizona yesterday. And while everything was fresh in my mind and what was going on, and one of the videos I did just this week, either the Motivational Monday, Turn Up Tuesday, or the Woke Wednesday, one of those videos covers a little bit of what I'm going to talk about. Now, again, this is a special edition. Instead of the What Separates You, again, we on a short notice, I flew to Chicago, drove down to Charleston, Mississippi. Absolutely one of the most friendliest places I ever went to. And it throws a monkey wrench in the mindset of somebody like myself who grew up north, traveled all over the country and some parts of the world. And all I heard about Mississippi, movies like Mississippi Burning and all these different things of Mississippi being kind of the cradle of racism. I didn't see a lot. Now, that doesn't say that their past isn't their past, and they probably have some stuff going on right now. But just in that pocket of Charleston, Mississippi and Tallahatchie County, I did not experience a lot of it. I want to say that I probably saw about 95% black people. And the 5% of white folks that I saw, and some of them very much interacted, they were friendly, they waved. I mean, it was just, my brother and I were just blown away. We're driving down the road, Illinois license plates on my brother's F-150 truck, which maybe that's why he fit in a little bit. But everyone would just wave, hey, how you doing? Just, hey, just ungodly friendliness. And we got a chance to visit some plantations. Now, that was a little eerie. I actually walked the grounds on one of the plantations. I was in the area where my dad grew up. Really stately place. Got the chance to talk to the son who actually lives there. His father bought the place, redid it a little bit. But just to walk on the grounds, and I asked him questions. I said, where the slave quarters were, and he was able to give me some information. But it was a weird feeling to see that place and then see some other ones that I took pictures of and just know that probably my ancestors were slaves on there, maybe one of those or somewhere in that area. So it was a real weird feeling. But with all that said, let me shift gears. The main reason why I wanted to make this video is because of what was taking place down there. And it had to do with some healing. Because and I had this conversation with my father. I shared with him that there were times in my life that I really, really disliked it, hated him. And I've been holding on to this hate for decades. And so I wanted to let him know that I loved him and I forgave him. Because that time that I got to spend down there in Charleston, I got to see, as my dad's 83 now, he's pointing out places where he lived, things he did, girls he had crushes on. I mean, my dad is reminiscing on everything. A lot of landmarks are gone, but he could point and say, hey, this church was here, my house was here, this was our community, this is the store I went to, I rode a wagon, I walked the railroad tracks. I mean, it took my dad all the way. I mean, and as he's talking, I'm sitting over there listening to him. I'm saying, this man is taking us all the way down or back to 1940s, and he's bringing us up to the present day. So it was very inspiring, very empowering. All the connections. I mean, our family is probably connected to so many different powerful people down there right now. So that was very empowering. But what I want to share with you watching this video is that I finally forgave my father. Finally forgave him and just told him, I forgive you. I love you, because now I have a sense of the time frame and what my dad was working with. There was things that I was expecting of my father because I was expecting him on present day times when I was a kid. But as I got to know what my dad went through and what he experienced growing up, I could only see that my dad brought to the table what he was given. He had a very strict mom. He barely knew his father. He was like the 9th of 16 kids. And so he was trying to navigate himself through that world. And so as he separated and told us the main reason why he got out of Mississippi was he was tired of being in the cotton field, and he was tired of, as he would say, I was tired of the white man having his hands so far deep in my pocket, I didn't know whether it was his or mine. That's the way my dad described living in the South. So when he got up north, I don't think he or my mom were really, really well equipped to have children. So he worked hard, he put a roof over our head, and there was really not much else that he was going to provide. But I didn't know that. As a kid, you don't know that. You expect things from a father and a mother. I didn't get them, so I held him responsible for those things. And I'm saying this to you. A lot of you guys are holding your parents and someone else responsible, because here's the deal. Some of you are running around as I did, and you feel you've been wronged. You feel that somebody just stole your childhood, and you tell that story to everybody who's going to listen. So now you're running around telling somebody, well, because of that, because I was wrong, and now this, I turned into a stripper, or I flunked out of school. I have all these bad relationships. I got divorced. It was blamed on this. I didn't make it to the NBA or didn't go to the NFL because of something that happened in my childhood. I messed up employment. I've got daddy or mommy issues. I've had children out of wedlock. I had an abortion, or in my case, some of those things, and I went to prison. So here's the thing. You all have every single right to feel wrong because you were, to feel robbed because you were, to feel disrespected because you were, all of that in spades. Okay? But here's what happened. When you constantly hold on to that story, you're carrying that thing around like the proverbial monkey on your back, like a backpack. It's like a college student. But in the back of your backpack, like that movie with George Clooney, where he talks about unpack the backpack. You've been carrying that thing around, and you have been putting more bricks and rocks in it because you're adding on to a life that was built from a flawed foundation. Okay? So now this backpack that was maybe a fanny pack when you first started, it is an enormous IKEA backpack that you're hunched over, and or either you went ahead and added yourself a cart like a homeless person. So you got a backpack, you got a fanny pack, you pushing a cart, you might even got something else, a wagon. You're pulling all of this garbage. And while you're doing that, you haven't been working on yourself. And so now, since you haven't been working on yourself, you've got this big backpack and you don't know where to start dropping stuff off, because everything was placed there because of what you thought about yourself back in the day. Now, I mentioned that in one of the other videos, but I wanted to make this point clear, that if you don't forgive whoever it was that wronged you, again, you deserve an apology. I deserve an apology from my father, but I've never gotten it. So I said to myself that I am going to just let him know, Dad, I love you. I realize now what you were bringing to the table. And so you brought the best to the table. I didn't know. I know now. I love you for that, and I forgive you for all your shortcomings. And I believe my father, because my cousins have told me that I am the one that's most like my dad. I've gone through a bunch of trouble. I was really hard-headed. I mean, I tried my parents' patience to the very end. And that's exactly what I heard what my dad did. And so it takes me, and I'm saying it's going to take you, to go to that person, dead or alive. Just say in your mind, hey, I forgive you. Because I know not what you were bringing to the table. What things shaped you so that you then in turn were maybe taking those things out on me. That's it. Let that go. Let it go. Because that bag of rocks that you're carrying around, that monkey on your back, it's just getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And I say that right now with an absolute free heart. Man, it was liberating going down there. I had no idea that it was going to come to this, but I'm sharing this with you. You've got to forgive. You got to forgive them, because you really have to do it for yourself. And I strongly believe that if you take that position, you are absolutely moving toward planning your greatness. All right. This is Thoughtful Thursday. This is a special edition. I wanted to get this out to you guys. It's never too late. And again, I was inspired to do this by one of my friends on Instagram who no longer has her father. And she saw me on Instagram spending time with my dad. And she said, I would give anything to have another chance or another moment to spend with my dad. And so I'm trying to make sure, and me saying that to my dad, I needed to say that because I feel so much better now. And I'm saying it to you. Some of you, that person that hurt you in your life, they're gone. You can't get them back. So you now have to heal yourself by just saying, hey, I forgive you. Because I know not what you brought to the table or what caused your pain, that you brought that pain on me. So I'm going to end with this. When you do that, you're moving to a better place, to planning your greatness. Now, this is for you. Plan your greatness. You know why? Because no one else will. All right, little man, take us home. I'll see you again next Thursday.